Alright, man, welcome back to another reaction. Today we've got the Annapurna disaster. So now, if you don't know, Annapurna is one of the most dangerous mountains in the entire world to summit. And this video will be covering on October 18th, 2011. Three elite South Korean climbers were attempting the first ascent of a notoriously difficult new route on the deadliest mountain in the Himalayas, Annapurna, man. Alright, let's not waste any more time, though, and just get right into this one, man. This looks fucking absolutely horrifying. Yeah, go subscribe to Morbid Midnight too if you haven't already, man. I'll turn another way up, fuck it.
Annapurna is a steep, towering Himalayan peak located in north-central Nepal.
Dude, so it's right by... Wow, so it's literally right here, right by, Everest and K2 and all that, because I'm pretty sure K2 is, like, up this way, right? If I remember correctly from yesterday's
Standing
video.
at 8,091 meters at its highest summit, it is the 10th tallest mountain in the world and one of only 14 8,000-meter peaks on the planet. Annapurna was the first 8,000-meter peak to be successfully summited when the feat was accomplished by a team of French mountaineers
It was the
on
first
June 3rd,
what?
1950, who made their ascent from the north face of the mountain, notably without the use of bottled oxygen. Despite this early success by the French summit team, however, in the following years, Annapurna would earn a reputation as one of the most difficult, dangerous, and deadly 8,000-meter peaks, with its fearsome reputation and high mortality rate rivaled only by the infamous K2. While the North Face has by...
And we just watched K2 yesterday. If you haven't watched that video, go back and watch that one. That one's fucking... Whew, that one's more just covering K2 as a mountain compared to this one's covering, like a specific adventure on Annapurna.
Far the gentlest slope of the mountain and the simplest route of ascension to the summit, it also sports notoriously unpredictable climbing conditions, as this gentler slope creates perfect conditions for frequent large avalanches to sweep down the north face.
Oh, that's horrifying.
Even after light snowfall. In combination with the avalanche risk and the fact that the north face had been ascended before, climbers attempting to reach the summit of Annapurna would soon begin to attempt to ascend the peak along the significantly steeper other sides of the mountain, including its infamous south face, an intimidating wall of ice, snow, and rock.
Holy, so on the north side, you got this, like, slow, gradual ascend, right? But very, very, very high risk for avalanche, is what he's saying. But on the south side and the other side, you got, especially on the south side, you got this very deep fucking vertical ascend, you know what I'm saying?
Ascend the peak along the significantly steeper other sides of the mountain, including its infamous south face, an intimidating wall of ice, snow, and rock, with a nearly constant 55-degree slope stretching from the glacier at its foot to the summit ridge of the mountain, 3,000 meters above it. The first ascent of Annapurna's south face was successfully accomplished in 1970 by a British expedition team led by mountaineering legend Chris Bonington, which followed a steep ridge up.
Holy, they went right up this? Holy, bruh. And they have to go up here, right? They go because this is the tallest spot, right? So you have to get to the actual peak.
The south face directly to the true summit of Annapurna, with the path up the ridge they had ascended from, subsequently becoming known as the British route following their historic ascent. 11 years later, a Japanese mountaineering expedition led by Hiroshi Aoda successfully ascended the south face following another, steeper ridge than the British team had taken, which this time led directly to the slightly lower central summit, which subsequently became known as the Japanese route.
Wait, so true summit... Goddamn. Excuse me. Does true summit mean, like, the actual highest point? Because obviously from this angle, this looks way higher than this, but it could just be the angle.
However, in 1992,
we don't 100%
a third,
know.
even more difficult route,
Bro,
wedged between the ridges of the British...
Holy shit, they went right up in the fucking little crack area? That's insane.
...and Japanese routes would be attempted by two French climbers, Pierre BEHGIN and Jean-Christophe Raphael. This route exposed the climbers to a barrage of falling ice and rocks as they ascended the steep slopes of
That's
Annapurna's south
horrifying.
face. Both BEHGIN and Raphael were two of the most elite climbers hailing from their native France, and managed to reach 7,400 meters before Annapurna's notoriously foul weather forced the pair to turn back. However,
They went
on their
down?
descent, BEHGIN fell to his death after one of his rope's anchors gave way, but Raphael managed to
Man.
descend successfully, despite having his right arm badly broken by a falling rock while he did so. In BEHGIN's memory, the route was named the BEHGIN route, and the first ascent of this brutal climb wouldn't be attempted again until
Holy shit. Bruh.
2007, when it was once again attempted by the prestigious mountaineer Uli
2007.
Steck, who was struck by a falling rock at around 5,850 meters and concussed, forcing him to abandon his bid for the summit. After Steck
Yo, he
once
survived
again failed
though. Holy. Survived a falling rock? Oh my god.
to complete the climb in 2008, he had generated a good deal of interest in completing this brutally difficult route, and the first ascent of the BEHGIN route became one of the most sought-after first ascents amongst Himalayan mountaineering's elite. One
Wow,
of these
man.
elite climbers that sought to conquer the route was a man named Park Yong-suk. The South Korean mountaineer was an esteemed mountain climber and adventurer, having summited all 14 of the 8,000-meter peaks. One of
Damn.
mountaineering's
Got all 14 under his belt, son.
most difficult and lofty achievements, and he had also ventured to both the North and South Poles as well.
Wow.
Park Yong-suk first attempted the BEHGIN route in 2010, but the attempt was abandoned after one of his team's members had his knee broken by a falling rock.
Dude, what, like, you would think, like, I understand, like, the mystique of, like, being the first one to summit from this area, but, like, bro, everyone's getting hit with falling rocks. You'd think, like, they decide, you know what, maybe rocks fall a little too often from this area. Let's go up one of the other routes. Like, holy shit, man.
However, the following year,
There's, like, to know that multiple people have been struck by rocks and I'm still gonna do it, that's insane to me. Holy fuck. Like, these guys are so built different.
Park would return with both his climbing partners from their previous attempt. A man, Park had his knee broken by a falling rock. However, the following year, Park would return with both his climbing partners from their previous attempt. A man named Shin Dong-min and a man named Kong Ki-suk for another attempt at the treacherous climb. Park was extremely determined to complete the ascent this time, telling the South Korean media before his departure to Nepal, "I won't just return home like last time. I will reach the summit no matter how long it will take."
Whew.
On October 9th, 2011, the party reached their planned location for their base camp and set up.
And they're going up right here. So they go up right up this, psh, psh, and then right up this area. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. This was the other one where they went boom, 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 whatever the fuck. And then this was the other one where they went boom, 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 right up this. And they're gonna be going right up this, left, and then up this little indent area, right in between both of these.
Their camp and then began to set up ropes on the lower section of the slope as they took time to acclimatize to the altitude. While they were making their final preparations at base camp, the group debated whether they would descend the mountain from the southern side from which they came, or whether they would follow the summit ridge after their ascent and descend down the far simpler northern route instead, ultimately deciding that they would decide later. Finally, on October 17th, 2011, the climbing team of 3 were ready to begin their journey to the summit and set off from base camp. They had planned to ascend the route, alpine style, which is a style of mountaineering where mountaineers pack light and do not fix their camps ahead of time. However, because alpine-style climbers do not establish their camps and haul gear between them, ascents must be made fairly quickly with their limited equipment and supplies. The team eventually...
So essentially they go, alpine style is you go less gear and less supplies for speed. So that makes sense.
Climbers had been making good time on their climb, and on October 18th, by 4 p.m., they had reached an altitude of 6,400 meters It was at this time,
20,000 feet?
however,
Holy
the team
shit.
radioed base camp to inform them that they had made the decision to abandon their summit attempt, as Annapurna had become enveloped in a powerful storm system, and they reported that they were also being battered by heavy rockfall from above. This radio contact was the last time anyone heard from any of the three men again. The members of the team back at base camp became concerned after being unable to contact the climbers by radio, and on October 20th, a search and rescue helicopter was dispatched to search for any signs of the missing climbers. However, the helicopter was unable to spot any sign of the missing men, aside from a rope buried in the deep snow that they believed belonged to the trio. But this search helicopter was forced to abandon its efforts when the helicopter began to run low on fuel. Soon after,
they were out there forever.
4 Sherpas were sent to search on the ground and searched around the 5,200 meter mark of the south face, but were similarly unable to find any trace of the missing mountaineers.
Damn, so if you can't find them, then they're definitely hit with an avalanche, right? That's what that means? That's just... Man...
In the following days, the search and rescue team was expanded to include 14 Sherpas and 5 Koreans, all searching for any further signs of the men, with the Korean rescue climbers bringing along metal detectors to further assist in the search efforts. They theorized that it was likely that the climbers were struck by falling rocks and then subsequently were swept down the mountain by avalanches and into the crevasse field in the glacier below. However, this expanded search party was ultimately unsuccessful at locating any further signs of the missing climbers.
Damn, son,
On
they didn't
October
find one of
29th,
them?
the search was called off as the conditions on Annapurna were jeopardizing the safety of the rescue team members. After calling off the search, the devastated Korean members of the search team, many of whom had climbed with Park Yong-suk previously, vowed to return to Annapurna to search for the trio's remains. However, no further evidence of the climbers' fates has been discovered since. While the loss of Park Yong-suk, Shin Dong-min, and Kong Ki-suk were devastating to the Korean mountaineering community, many of Park's friends and admirers found solace in the fact that Park Yong-suk died doing what he loved, as he had been notably quoted saying, "Mountaineers should be on the mountains. I will continue my expeditions until death comes."
Man. Dude, why the fuck is Nick's channel popping up at the bottom? I don't understand that. That shit is just like... I was so wrapped up in this. In these fucking 3 absolute fucking chads. Who, like, dude. Wow. Well... Fuck. Honestly, I don't even... Man. I'm trying to think of things that, like something to say to, like... You know what I mean? But, like... There's not really much I can say, man. Other than they went out doing what they love. It's so horrifying. Like, just to even think about, like... Wow. Goddamn. That one was crazy, man. Yo, hey. Make sure to go subscribe to Morbid Midnight if you haven't already, man. Goddamn. What a fucking video. Holy shit. What a video, man. Hey, yo, if you liked the video, subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you next time, man. Deuces.